Hello, people of the internet. It is I, GareBear890, back again with part 3 of the Nintendo GameCube collection. So, part 3, it only makes sense that we start off with PN number 3, product number 3. One of the Capcom exclusives to the GameCube. Definitely had an interesting control scheme, and this is one of the few games that I actually owned at one point, but then I traded because it wasn't my cup of tea at the time. But then I bought it again, and I did so for $18.88. Now this one, I remember I found in GameStop just before the GameCube games were like officially shipped to the warehouses and done being sold in stores. But it was like in mint condition. That's Killer 7. A very interesting game, that's for dang sure. Killer 7, yeah, it was $8. I really couldn't pass that up, and I'm glad I didn't. Okay, and then this is another one, actually, that I found for, like, dirt cheap at GameStop in great shape. That is Beautiful Joe by Clover Studio, actually, one of my favorites. And, this one I was able to grab for $2.87. I remember I still have the receipt, but yeah, it was crazy. All right, and then of course I wanted to pick up Beautiful Joe 2, and I did that with $13.86 off of eBay. And then Beautiful Joe Red Hot Rumble. I won this in an auction for $11. I remember at the time that was actually a pretty solid deal. Okay, now I did have a separate video talking about all my Resident Evil games, so I won't go into that again. You're welcome. But yeah, anyways, Resident Evil 4, one of the defining games for the GameCube. I remember this was cool to pick up day one. And so Resident Evil 4 was about $52. Brand new. And then Resident Evil Code Veronica X. I love this game. This is one of my favorite Resident Evil games. This one, $31.86 at GameStop. And then Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, $19.11. I remember when they first ported them to the GameCube, the print run was like extremely low. So like all of them were going for tons of money. And it sucked because I really wanted to play them because I had just barely gotten into the Resident Evil series. And I remember I was like trying to do anything I could to get Resident Evil 2, but it was going for like $120. And then they must have came out with more, or I just got lucky that my GameStop just kept getting Resident Evil titles in for reasonable prices. Because I remember my dad had dropped me off at GameStop while he ran to the store real quick that was right next door. And this was in there on the shelf. And I remember I had like $10, but I'm like, Dad, please, I need to get this. This is going for like over $100. And he's like, okay. So anyways, $27. And it was worth every penny. All right, now Resident Evil 0. I love this one. This was a solid follow-up after playing Remake. 0, though, I got for $13. And then speaking of Remake, of course, gotta have this one. And I think to this day, this is my favorite Resident Evil. Just such a masterpiece. But yeah, $10. I remember I bought this with Christmas money one year. All right. This is one of my favorites of all time. I think it's might be in my top 10 of all time. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Just such a cool game. I love everything about it, and like the whole sanity meter was awesome, and just every couple of years I got to pop this in and play through it again. But yeah, my brother, one of his buddies in high school, found this game, and then he told my brother, "You got to play it," and then he was like telling me I got to play it. So yeah, I'm glad that I grabbed this with Christmas money as well, for $13.80. If you haven't played this game, play it. Seriously, like it's so much fun, and I think it still holds up to this day. All right. Now remember there was a sad story. It's actually very sad now if I think about it. But I was uh wanting to get Zelda Wind Waker, but it was the one that included the Ocarina of Time Master Quest disc as well. So it was like the special case where the top half was Wind Waker and the bottom half right here was for Ocarina of Time. And I remember I had some money. I had about $60. And so I was watching this eBay auction and I lost at the last second barely. And I was so excited to get it, and my dad's like, "Oh, did you get the game?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Well, do you want me to take you to GameStop and you could pick out a game?" I was like, "Okay." And so, anyways, I decided on this one. I'd never even heard of Metal Gear Solid at that point. But I grabbed this one for, I think it was like $40. Yeah, $42.49. And it was worth it. I thought this was an awesome game, and it had some really cool GameCube exclusive content. And just a really solid entry for sure. And then like introduced me to the MGS series. But yeah, looking back now, if I had that Wind Waker, that would be nice. All right, now we got Geist, a M-rated GameCube exclusive, and I believe Nintendo produced this, and so it was a little different. But yeah, Geist got for $10 in a pawn shop. And then we got Bomberman Jetters. Not really much more I can say about that. But I got this on eBay, $14.44. Now, Bomberman Generation, I don't think it was as good as Bomberman 64, but we still had fun with this one. This one, $6. Bought it from my brother. Alright, then we got Harvest Moon Magical Melody that I grabbed for $23.75. And then we got Harvest Moon Another Wonderful Life. So a follow up to A Wonderful Life. So this one I got for $16.99. And then of course I got A Wonderful Life, which this one was really cool. And I remember my friend had it, and he had gotten really far and had just about everything. But yeah, I grabbed this one, $26.66. Now this is one I'm glad that I grabbed when I did. And actually, like, it was a couple years ago now, but one of the newest games that I got for GameCube, and that is Ribbit King, which I knew I was crazy because it was like you could buy a sealed copy for PS2 at the time for like $15. But I don't know, there's certain games where I'm like, they're just so quirky and different, and they just feel more at home on the GameCube. But anyways, yeah, I bought this from a guy on eBay, and I did so for $50.33, and it was crazy too because he shipped the game, and then he refunded me the difference in shipping. He's like, "Hey, you paid like $5 in shipping, but it only cost like $3 and something cents." So I was like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting you to do that, but there are some really cool people out there." All right, now this one. This is a very cool and unique game, and definitely suited to the GameCube. Chibi Robo. This one I remember I traded for at the retro game store. So I had went in with a couple extra games I had that I didn't want, and I was like, okay, what would we do if I traded these towards Chibi Robo? And at the time, Chibi Robo was going for $60, and um, he said that he could do it for um, like the two games I was trading in, which were like nothing, and I think like $10 or something like that. So, anyways, it all worked out that I paid $27.62. It didn't have the manual, so I had to buy that, and that's in that price point. But this is crazy. I watched this happen live. So when I first heard about Chibi Robo, I looked on eBay and it was going for $40, and there was only like 2 or 3 copies, and then they sold out, and so on eBay there was no copies at all. When you typed in Chibi Robo, nothing came up. Well, then somebody decided to sell their copy of Chibi Robo, and they saw, oh, there's no other copies. I could sell it for whatever I want. And so they put it for $60, and then from that point on, it was $60. And so, anyways, it's just kind of crazy to see how it jumped from 40 to 60, really for no reason other than, somebody just set a new price point. And then, of course, it's gone way up since then. But yeah, anyways, it's a fun game. All right, here is a heavy hitter, and also resulted in one of the biggest tragedies of my life. Gotcha Force. So this one was always going for like a solid 200 to 230 for quite a while. And then it just like started dropping, and it was like 170, 150. Got down to 130, and then it was at 120, and I was like, okay, I'm going to pull the trigger and do it. But then I was like, well, if it's dropping this fast, like maybe it will keep going. I don't know. But then it started going back up slowly. And so there was an auction where it was ending in a couple hours, and it was still like, I think it was at like 110. So I'm like, what the heck? And so I watched it throughout the day, and it kind of kept going up. And so I threw out, let's look real quick. So I think I threw out a bid of like my max was like 175 or something like that. And I was just like, okay, that's it, 175. And if it goes above that, then, oh well. So I walk out of work, and it's like, congratulations, you won. And of course, it was like 175. Like there had been a huge bidding war, and they stopped like literally at like 174. So yeah, I won for my max bid, and then shipping was like $5, or $5 and some odd cents. So I ended up paying $180.37. And I was so mad because I got my car, and for some reason I was like, I'll wait till I get home to like pay for it, because I want to like pay, like buy some other stuff and pay for it all at once. I don't know. But for some reason I'm like, you know what? No, just pay for it now on the phone. So I just paid for it all and was good to go. Well, then I get home and I like open up the computer, and then eBay was like, today only 15% off with this code. And it would have applied to this. So I could have put in that code and saved 15%, which would have been about like $27 off. So I don't know. I remember it really pissed me off that I'm like, of course, if I would have just like went with my gut feeling. But anyways, by today's standards, I am very happy that I paid $180. So yeah, there's my Gotcha Force story. All right. Now this one might be Gotcha Force and Cubivore are usually battling it out for the most expensive GameCube game that's not like some crazy variant. My friend had heard about this game, and he always had his eye on it, but it was just always hard to find. Very low print run. It's Atlas, and just a weird game, suited for the GameCube for sure. Um, but I for whatever reason I just like typed it in on Amazon, and I rarely buy games on Amazon because they're usually a bit higher priced. And this was a number of years ago, and there was somebody selling a copy for $75, and at the time it was going for about I think like 250 or something like that. So I was like, holy crap. So I immediately messaged them. I'm like, hey, could you please send me pictures just so I can see everything that's included? I probably, I should have just pulled the trigger, but I'm hoping that they're going to message me back. Well, anyways, they don't message me back. Well, they did, but 2 days later, they're like, oh, sorry, it already sold. And I'm like, gosh dang it, I should have just. But I was in college, and so it's like I didn't have an extra $75 to just, throw out and see what happens. But then I lucked out because I think the next person that decided to sell a copy, which was literally within a week, saw the last copy had sold for 75, so they listed it for 75, and they didn't have pictures, but they had a pretty good description. And it was like complete in box, manual, everything's in great shape. So I'm like, okay, this one I'm gonna do it. Pulled the trigger, got it, and it's like in mint condition. And I paid $74.63 actually. So, anyways, I was very happy to get Cubivore. All right, then we got 1080 Avalanche, which this one I paid $13.50 for. And then everybody's favorite Odama uses the microphone, and from what I've seen, is very frustrating to play. So Odama, I actually got the big box, and it came with the microphone for $7.49. All right, and then of course I love me some Wave Race Blue Storm. This is one of the first ones I picked up for $9.90. All right, and then we got Battalion Wars. Actually, a pretty challenging game at times. $15.85. And then this is a very fun, crazy game. Very random. I would always bring this out at parties just because people would be like, what the frick is going on? But I was like, well, it's WarioWare Inc. Mega Party Games. So this one, $26.99. Woo! Alright, this is a big one. Super Smash Bros. Melee. I had a lot of fun with this game for quite a while. But then I had a friend that was just way, way too into this game, and anytime he came over, this was like all he wanted to do, because he didn't have a Gamecube. And so he just wanted us all to play Super Smash Bros. Like all the time. And the problem was, it was literally all the time. So I just got so sick of it that I refused to play for a long time. But yes, slowly over the years, I'll play here and there. But yeah, this one, my brother sold me for $25. At the time, I was going for $50, so he was nice enough to give me a 50% discount. All right, now this is going to be the last game for part 3, and it's one of my favorites for sure. And it took a little bit to get me to finally try it, because, yeah, I thought it looked a little weird, a little kiddie. I'm talking about Animal Crossing, and I know what I said is blasphemy. But yeah, I had a friend that he got into this, and he loved it. And I'd watch him play it, and he was always like, dude, get Animal Crossing. We can play it. I was like, nah, I'm too cool for that. Well, then I had a friend at school that he was actually like pretty cool. And also he's like, dude, have you ever played Animal Crossing? And I was like, oh, yeah, I've played that all the time. But anyways, he was like, dude, it's awesome. I love Animal Crossing. I'm like, yeah, me too. So then I decided, you know what, I'm actually going to buy it. So I did off of eBay for $39. But then I got a second copy, and I was able to sell that, and then so now I've only paid $6.88. But yeah, anyways, a ton of fun with this. I'm glad that I finally did pick it up, even if the reason was stupid. But yeah, then me and my friend had a lot of fun playing this together, and I got really into this. I just remember like Sunday evenings going fishing to pay off that freaking house loan. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for part 3. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for all the long stories, but they're just some of my favorite games, and the whole point of this is to be able to just talk to someone who might have some similar stories. But yeah, anyways, thanks for hanging around, and have a good one.